Namaste and welcome. Thank you for joining us on this program, Yoga for Unity and Wellbeing, 100 days towards the International Day of Yoga. Let us explore Journey to Motherhood. This being Mother's Day, it is just appropriate that we look at this subject with a different perspective. How do women prepare for motherhood? What does it take? How important it is that her well-being is kept at its maximum potential so that she can give life in the best possible way. Discussing this, Dr. Snigdha Mehta and Dr. Snehal Deshpande, both joining us from Mumbai. Both are physiotherapists and have worked extensively with women and children in the field of motherhood. Dr. Snehal Deshpande is also the Director of Continuous Medical Education at Heartfulness Institute and directs several programs such as Wow to Wow, A Union of Hearts, Divyajanani, and The Joy of Parenting. Let's listen to these two wonderful women discuss one of the most beautiful experiences of life on the planet, motherhood.
Very, very warm welcome to each and everyone who is about to attend or to walk with us through the journey of motherhood. Motherhood is a real journey for every woman in her life, which she cherishes and she looks forward for. And why is it so? Let us understand that. Let us understand first the concept of Matritva, which is a Sanskrit term for the word womanhood. The other word which we know, which is less known, is Janani. Janani also means motherhood. So when we are here to speak of motherhood, let us understand why every woman strives to become a mother. In India or in Indian cultures, we all understand that the highest ideal which the woman is looked on to is as a mother. Needless to say, Swami Vivekananda also has cherished the woman in a big way. He has, in his speech, he said, the mother is the first and the mother is the last. So when we have every person who is big and who is known, who has come onto this earth, or everyone recognizes the bigness or the individuality which he or she has reached and attributes to that to one single person in their life, and that is the mother. So today we have with us to understand the journey of motherhood, my dear friend, Dr. Snigdha Mehta. She's a physiotherapist and she has her own physiotherapy center in Mumbai, India. She is specialized in musculoskeletal and neuromuscular physiotherapy. She is the only Indian certified physiotherapist by the American Physical Therapy Association. The section on the women's health of this association has certified her. She looks after health in pregnancy. She looks after postpartum and pelvic rehabilitation, pelvic pain, and bowel dysfunction. All of us as mothers understand that the first gift of love which we get onto this universe gives us pain. But we all cherish that pain, isn't it? So she teaches the young girls and the to-be mothers how to handle this pain, how to relax when you're birthing. And her classes are really, really wonderful. I myself have attended her classes recently and I've really cherished the journey which she had taken me through. She's also trained in Pilates and therapeutic yoga, a very unique combination for this field. So I welcome Dr. Snigdha Mehta to take us through the journey of the physical aspects of pregnancy and how a woman, when she's becoming a mother or even when she thinks of becoming a mother, can understand how to deal with the situation and give herself and humanity the best. Over to you, Dr. Snigdha.
Thank you so much, Dr. Snehal, for that wonderful introduction. And thank you so much, Heartfulness Association, for giving me a chance to talk to all of you today. I will just do the screen share. So, yes, my topic for today is before a mother is born and after. It's been a wonderful journey for me and a wonderful journey for all the wonderful girls who have been with me in this emotional and physical changing life situation. And let's talk a little about it. So we all know, all of us who are mothers know that becoming a mother completely changes our life in one of the most significant ways, both physically and psychologically. And this experience we will never, ever replicate. So let's talk about the physical aspects. That's what I'm going to talk about. But before a mother is born after she becomes a mother. But before she's born, a lot of questions come to mind and a lot of questions are asked. Should a woman exercise when she's trying to conceive? Girls are really afraid to exercise. And actually, pregnancy rates can be twice as high in women who maintain a regular moderate exercise compared to those who do not exercise at all if they desire to conceive. And benefits are most useful, especially in patients having obesity, polycystic syndrome, and insulin resistance. So exercise is a must unless medically contraindicated long before you conceive. However, vigorous exercise can be quite counterproductive. Studies in athletes show that with high levels of vigorous exercise, there's a negative impact on the menstrual cycle, ovulation, and therefore fertility. So moderate exercise is the key. What about exercise during the IVF cycle? This is another very commonly asked question. So there are some women who are told not to exercise at all because of the real risk of ovarian torsion during the IVF cycle. There are some recommendations for exercise during this IVF cycle. That you should not be doing any high impact exercises, especially if there are quick changes in body position. What is allowed? Walking, light jogging, both are fine, but no quick twisting. Swimming is again okay, but no flip turns at the end of the lane. And yoga, of course, is great, but no inversions. We are all afraid of the ovarian torsion, and that's why we have to be more careful with the exercise if you are on the IVF cycle. And now you've conceived, and the journey of motherhood has begun. So there are some guidelines laid down by the American Constitutions of Obstetrics and Gynecology and during pregnancy. So there are some absolute contraindications and there are some relative contraindications to exercise during pregnancy. So it is always best to consult your obstetricians before you start any exercise program. In case you do not have any contraindications, physical activity is actually desirable. That's what ACOG says. And women should be encouraged to continue exercise or initiate it if they've never done exercise before during their pregnancy. There are tremendous amount of benefits of exercise in pregnancy. You are more likely to have a vaginal delivery and a faster postpartum recovery, and a lower incidence of excessive gestational weight gain, gestational diabetes mellitus, gestational hypertensive disorders, preterm birth, and cesarean birth. So there are lots of benefits of exercise during pregnancy. These are all well-researched and evidence-based. What should be the intensity of workout? This is another question that comes to the mind of the girls who are exercising. A talk test, what is that? That's a great way of finding out whether you're working out at the right intensity. So your heart rate should be moderately raised if you're doing, for example, brisk walking, so that but you should be able to talk while you are doing that activity or workout. So heart rate moderately raised, but you should be able to talk. A safe or desirable goal for moderate exercise during pregnancy is 30 minutes a day, most or all days of the week. These are the guidelines that have been laid down by ACOG. So what kind of fitness routine can you do? Fitness routine could involve any of these or all by turns on different days. Actually, to do different kinds of exercise on different days is actually ideal. So you could do yoga asanas, swimming, walking, Pilates, strength training, any of these on different days, or if you like, you can do all of them every day. These are some of the asanas, just examples of some of the asanas that can be done during your pregnancy. Girls really enjoy them. They feel so much better emotionally and physically when they do exercises. These are some of the other examples. Now, when you come closer to labor, just a few weeks away from labor, we start some of the asanas, like Malasana is one of them, and Jalandhara Bandh to quieten down the mind. These are excellent ways of preparing for childbirth. And of course, we do pranayam to prepare mentally and emotionally for the event of childbirth. Okay, now you are a mother. You have delivered, and now what next? What about postpartum period? What can you do? So exercise actually can be resumed gradually as long as it is medically safe. And of course, some women, especially those who have been exercising throughout their pregnancy, are capable of resuming some of the physical activity and some of the exercises very soon, within a few days of delivery. There are some changes that you may encounter in your body, which you may not be too happy with. Let's talk about some of those. Diastasis recti. What is diastasis recti? It's a separation of the rectus abdominis, or the six-pack muscle that all of us are familiar with. This is because the uterus grows during pregnancy to accommodate a growing abdomen, and hence the muscles in the center, as you see in the picture here, they tend to separate during the pregnancy. For some people, they go back to normal very soon, but for some people, they don't. And if they don't, then they look something like this, or even like this for a slimmer person. But the good news is that we have a lovely muscle called the transversus abdominis in our body, which is our own corset. If we start activating this muscle, your abdomen will become much flatter than what it was with the diastasis recti, which produces a bulge in the abdomen. So what exercise can you do for diastasis recti? A very good exercise is to lie down in this position, and as you are breathing out through the mouth gently, you pull your abdomen in gently and slowly, and as you breathe in, you relax the muscle. The transversus abdominis that I talked about earlier is the deepest muscle of the abdomen, like our own corset. And when we breathe out and take the abdomen in, this muscle is activated. And of course, we can begin with this position, and we can go on to all different positions and activate it even more. You can do it in the sitting position also. It's a gentle exercise. We are not bracing our whole abdomen. We're not holding our breath. We're not tightening any other muscle. In fact, somebody looking at you while you're doing this exercise may not even notice that you're doing something. It's as gentle as that. So to know more about how to activate the transversus and to get over your problem of diastasis recti, you could consult a physiotherapist who is an expert at women's health, a good Pilates and yoga instructor. They can also help you to get over the diastasis recti problem. What are the exercises you should avoid? Common mistakes that we do are if you have a diastasis recti, you shouldn't be doing these oblique twists, the Pilates hundreds, as you see in the picture, the crunches, abdominal crunches, reverse leg lower, that means you raise your legs and put them down, or the frontal planks. Your diastasis can get worse because of this. Also, these exercises where we do back bending should be avoided. The muscles that are already stretched get stretched even more, and you can worsen your problem. So go to an expert to treat your diastasis recti. Let's talk about the pelvic floor muscles. The pelvic floor muscles are under a lot of strain throughout your pregnancy, but actually throughout our life, because all our organs sit on these pelvic floor muscles. But during pregnancy, the weight of the baby, plus the bladder, the uterus, and the rectum, all are connected to the pelvic floor, and they get a lot of load. The pelvic floor are extraordinary multitaskers. They maintain the urinary incontinence, fecal incontinence. They help you in voiding. They help you in childbirth, in sexual relations, in pelvic stability, in lumbar stability, so that you don't get backaches. The breathing is very much connected to the pelvic floor muscle. And of course, all the organs inside your abdomen are supported by these muscles. So these extraordinary muscles have to be taken care of after you deliver and throughout your pregnancy. Yeah, they are like a hammock. So the hammock has to be nice and strong. Otherwise, it will droop and it will cause problems of the kind we talked about right now. Yes. So how do you do this? So to begin with, you can lie down in this position, and as you breathe out, you can pull in gently your pelvic floor towards your head and towards your pubic bone. And as you breathe out, relax your pelvic floor. This is the way to begin your pelvic floor exercises. The pelvic floor muscles and the deep abdominal muscle that I just talked about, the transversus abdominis, actually work together. They are partners for life. And that is why they work. You can work on the pelvic floor and you will find that your transversus gets better. Or if you work on your transversus, the pelvic floor gets better. And of course, we have in yoga this beautiful asana Mool Bandh, which can be taught by all the expert yoga instructors. What are exercises you should avoid if you have a weak pelvic floor? A lot of girls go, they don't realize that some of the exercises are wrong, and they go and do these crunches, these leg lifts, and especially sit-ups with legs straight in the air, and double leg lifts, and lifting heavy weights are dangerous to do when you have a weak pelvic floor. That is why it's a good idea to learn the pelvic floor exercises, which are also called Kegel exercises, but a lot of people we find do Kegels wrong, and that is why it's a good idea to learn from an expert. Running, jumping, and other high impact activities are also a no-no if you have pelvic floor problems. There's some things that I wanted to talk to about habits that women have. We go to college, we are out the whole day and we delay toileting. We do not want to use the outside toilets. And this can actually overstretch the bladder, leading to an atonic bladder. Bladder is like a sack of muscle. And if we fill it up a bit too much, we can overstretch it. That's why it's not a good habit to delay toileting for too long. Hovering over a toilet. We all have done this. So when we find that we go out and we want to pee, we do not want to sit on the toilet seat, and we hover over it. It's not a good idea, because hovering over the toilet does not allow the adequate relaxation of the pelvic floor muscles, which is a must when you want to pee. Bearing down to initiate stream or to complete urination. That's another habit that many of us have. So we just push so that we want to pass urine, or to complete urine, we push. Not a good idea to push on the pelvic floor in that way. Voiding just in case. We are going to be out in the car for more than 3-4 hours. And what we do is that we want to, even if the bladder is not full, we want to empty it. And what happens is the bladder gets used to. So, so it is not a good idea to not let the bladder get full before emptying it. So if you're going to step out of the house and you need to empty it, but otherwise do not keep emptying it before it is full. Failing to wipe, this is applicable to all women, failing to wipe from front to back after bowel movements. And we often find women keep getting UTI, that's urinary tract infection, because they do not wipe in the correct way. Varicose veins, unfortunately, is a gift from pregnancy for many of us. And unfortunately, it leads to these ugly veins. So what do? Keep your feet elevated as often as you can. Wear compression socks. And when you're keeping your legs elevated, do this pumping of the foot and ankle constantly to push the blood up and not allow it to pool in the feet and cause varicosity. Osteoporosis, unfortunately, could be another gift for women, especially after menopause, but it actually starts long before that, around the age of 30 or 35. So what is osteoporosis? We all know that it's loss of bone density, and as a result, the bones become weak and brittle. And this can actually, because of the fractures that we get because of brittle bones, it could decrease the quality of our life and also decrease our lifespan. So, and there's another thing that we all must take care of is what we call sarcopenia. This is loss of muscle mass that could occur because of aging or because of immobility and bad diet. In the pandemic, many of us have been sitting for hours and hours, and this could actually lead more likely to sarcopenia than we are up and about. It can result in decrease in quality of life. We are no longer able to do the tasks that we could do earlier. So what should we do for osteoporosis and sarcopenia to decrease the problems of both of these? Regular weight-bearing exercise, kind such as walking, jogging, dancing, excellent weight-bearing exercise where your legs are doing a lot of work. Legs muscles are the strongest and biggest muscles of the body. And of course, strength training or resistance training, such as lifting weights, push-ups, squats. So a good exercise program with using your legs and using your arms and upper body develops the bones better and also prevents sarcopenia. So these are some of the exercises we can do, whether it's yogasanas or walking or push-ups or dancing or bands, elastic band, resistant bands or weights. And they should, of course, be done on a regular basis. So these start doing these bone building and muscle strengthening exercises at any age, and you will have stronger bones and muscle. That's the good news. So it's okay. Suppose you say, oh, I've never done these. Now what? You can do it at any age. You can do it even if you're 80 plus, even if you're 30 plus. Start doing these exercises. They will build your bones, become stronger, and your muscles get much better. At any age is a good age to start. And they can actually reverse osteoporosis and sarcopenia to a great extent. So actually becoming younger as you age. That's such a good thing to happen. There are other reasons why exercise is very important. Exercise, yoga, Pilates, all are very important. And of course, what I want to tell you is about the COVID-19 research that has come in, and it shows that it reduces your chance of falling more ill or suffering and hospitalization due to COVID decreases by 50% if you're physically fit. So all of us want to be physically fit. So even if you get the infection of COVID-19, it cannot prevent it. If you get the COVID-19 infection, your chances of falling more ill or chances of complications reduced by at least 50% if you are a regular fitness freak. And of course, exercises help all parts of the body. The brain becomes sharper and you are able to do much more work even in older age if you are regular with exercise. It makes your heart and your lungs much stronger. And this interesting study was done on the chromosomes. This is a chromosome. At the end of the chromosome is the telomere. Now, as we age, our telomere length shortens. But what is interesting to know is if you're a regular exerciser, we can actually increase the length of this telomere, and which is a telomere length is a very important biomarker of health and fitness. So exercises help to increase the telomere length, which usually gets shorter as we age. So yes, find an exercise that you enjoy, make it a habit, and you will reap the rewards in later life and also today. And enjoy an independent and productive old age, which we all want. So as you sow, so you reap. Happy Mother's Day to all. Thank you so much.
So thank you, Dr. Snigdha, and it was really, really very in-depth and eye-opening talk. Needless to say, when I've interacted with the youngsters of today, and I continue to do so because they come to me as parents of either typical children, and especially in this last 1.5 years, I have a lot of typical parents of typical children walking in and saying they are stressed. They don't know what to do. And this word stress has become so common in the world today. And COVID has taught us that we have to be prepared for any uncertain situations. So when I'm looking at these young parents or to-be parents, they're not prepared for childbearing. And you're doing a beautiful work of looking at their physical aspects of it. So here in Heartfulness Institute, we started Family Connect programs in 2017. And primarily these programs were looking at how to prepare a couple to bear a child. And why is that important? Snigdha, do you remember the story from Mahabharata in which there is a king, there's a kingdom in which there is no heir to the king, to the kingdom, and they don't know what to do. And the queen has 2 princesses who are there. And then she approaches Bhishma, but Bhishma has already taken the vow of celibacy. So she says, now what do we do? And they approach Vedvyasa. So Vedvyasa says, can we wait for a year before I, she implores to him. She says, requests him that you be a surrogate, it's like a sperm donor or a surrogate father to the queens. And she says, please, she requests him wholeheartedly. So he agrees. He says, can you wait for a year? And she says, no, the heir to the kingdom is very, very important. And we need a heir very soon. So then he says, okay, but Vedvyasa he's ferocious. He has his beard. He's smelling because he's not taken bath. So there are these 2 queens. So the first one goes to him in the night, and the moment she looks at him, she is scared. She's full of fear. And then he comes out after the consummation and he says that he tells the queen that it is, I feel that fear had caught on to this lady, and the upcoming child will be very pale. So then the queen doesn't know what to do. She wants a very strong heir to the kingdom. So she said the other queen is there, the other princess is there. And she requests that princess, and that princess too, when she walks in, she sees him and she smells and she closes her eyes and she says, oh no, I cannot take it. And then he comes and he says, now this child is going to be a blind child. And that's how we know the history, right, of Mahabharata. That's how Dhritarashtra and the Pandu king was born. And the third one is the maid. So finally, the second princess, the queen says, why don't you try once more? So she gets scared again and she sends her Dasi, the maid. And after the Dasi or the maid is very happy that she is going to meet a sage, a saint. And because of that, she gets a child who is intelligent. So as this story has been repeatedly sort of given as a reference in mythology, and even today as a very good example by our dear guide, Dr. Kamlesh Patel, and he says that the vibratory compatibility a couple possesses at the time of conception determines the soul or invites the soul within you. And it is so important to develop that from the beginning. You cannot do that at the point, like we saw in both these examples, at the point when you're going to do it. So the vibratory compatibility needs to be developed. So this process of family connect programs, which we train the couples to understand one another, to handhold one another, to see that they relax. So there was another study, Snigdha, which was done in Brooklyn, in these areas where there's a lot of violence. And the women were very scared, extremely scared. There was violence all around. And so the pregnant woman used to be really scared. So automatically the epigenetics, as we say, as has been pointed out in the recent research by Bruce Lipton, affects the fetuses. So the children who are born to such mothers are completely having their frontal lobes not very well developed, and the blood supply to the part of the brain behind, as we call it as the midbrain, is increased. So this is what research has shown. These are epigenetic changes which happen. And that's why in the Indian culture, the mother to be is sent to her mother's house so that she rests emotionally, mentally, and she completely gives her attention to the little one who is coming. And why is this very, very important? It is very important because we are looking at the universe or the humanity which is coming. It is not, we are responsible as to the to-be mothers for their progeny, which is going to represent all of us in the future. So that's what Heartfulness Institute has developed. It has developed various programs for parents who are wanting to bear children. So one of the programs which we started in 2017 is called as Divyajanani. As I told you right in the beginning, Janani means the mother, and Jananatvam means the motherhood, the journey to motherhood. So what is the meaning of this Divya Janani? So Divya is divine. It actually means very, very divine, something which, it actually shows it's next to the supreme. So this program is suitable for parents or for the couples who are trying to have their own children, but they cannot have. They have some problems. As you said, PCOD can be one of the problems. Women have a lot of problems which give rise to infertility, and so also men. So you have a lot of these azoospermia, oligospermia, or the women have other problems like the fallopian tube problems, which contribute towards causing number one, anxiety. So whenever such a couple comes to us, the first thing what we try to do is calm them down, talk to them, and give them heartfulness relaxation. We will be showing you how we teach them to breathe. This is a breathing exercise given to them. And after they relax, this program has other issues which we deal with. So we definitely deepen their relationship because of the anxiety, stress, the stigma of the society that they have not born children. The couples, instead of coming close to each other, go far away from each other. So we try to bring them a little more closer and deepen their relationship, to express their feelings. So feelings which are cooked up inside, they cause a lot of stress into the mother. And the mother carries them. Like, even if it's a single thing, like the mother-in-law keeps asking, or even if the mother keeps asking, what happened, beta? She may be doing it with a lot of love, with nothing in her mind. But this girl feels the pain. And what happened, beta? have you got your periods? And she crunches. And this is the response which I've heard from all the girls who come to me and say, Didi, we are too scared when our dates come close. So we teach them, we give them techniques which actually calm them down and let out things. So we have something which is called as a fear detox. Fear detox is a technique which they can do to reduce the fears and take it out of their system. We have something which is called as the anxiety detox. And before that, see, a restless mind, as Dr. Kamlesh Patel, our guide, says, cannot meditate. Imagine if you're restless and someone says, meditate, you'll be opening your eyes, what's happening, or your mind will be running here, there, from one room to another room, and then to the doctor's cabin, and back to the mother-in-law, and back to your husband. So a restless mind can never ever meditate. So what we do is, there is a process which is called as cleaning. Now, cleaning is something where we take out everything from within. We teach them cleaning. And along with this cleaning, the women are also taught to do womb cleaning. Snigdha, we all know that visualization and positive affirmations go a long way to create future within us, right? So this is the scientific basis of this particular technique, what we give to the mothers. We give them womb cleaning. So they are taught to clean the womb in the evening alongside with the regular cleaning technique which Heartfulness follows. So along with the womb cleaning, and next day morning, of course, because their restlessness is settled down, their anxiety has reduced, they can sit into meditation and visualize that they are becoming a happy and a healthy mother. We teach this to the husband and we teach this to the wife. Both of them meditate together. Both of them come into sync. We bring them together. We say, reduce the tension, keep off the negativities from within. So we teach them how to work in harmony, create that synergy between not only them, but also around the house. So when you're giving positive affirmations and relaxation, the vibration of what they are doing spreads to the house, spreads to the community, and there is alignment which sets into the system. A lot of it much depends on the faith which this couple carries amongst themselves. So it is a hand holding. Let us hold the hand of each other and of the family and let us walk through. It does not depend. Sometimes it does happen that there have been couples who have approached me from outside of Heartfulness. The woman has come and said, I would like to start meditation. Could you help me? And we have got successes in these cases. So we have around 5 workshops which we have held, Snigdha, and we have almost 82 couples who have come regularly or followed this regularly. Almost 25 have conceived. That is the success rate of the program. And most of them, except for the 3, we have all natural conceptions. So that is the success rate of this program, which is called as Divyajanani. And alongside with all this, we have other techniques. As I mentioned, we have the cleaning, we have the womb cleaning, we have meditation on the womb, we have heartfelt communications, because many a time what you mean is clouded with what you feel, right? And then something else comes out and the other person gets hurt and then you get hurt. So we teach them to how to use the heart. So in Heartfulness, the main organ of everything in life, to go ahead, to communicate, to do. We say, na, dil se karo to acha hota hai, na? Like you use your heart in everything and everything is good. So we teach every person to use the heart during their day. So meditation is one part of the story. You meditate in the morning, but the most important aspect of meditation is how you carry it during the day. Am I being meditative? Am I being absorbed in what I am doing? Am I passing over that energy, what I get, to whatever is around? How am I eating? Am I eating with that feeling of oneness? Or am I just grabbing and eating? You know, the way the person eats, the way the person sleeps, most of the couples lose their sleep. And the women also nowadays, you know, they go on their mobiles. So I would like to quote this incident which happened last week in my clinic. There was a kid who was, jumping and screaming outside my consulting. And the therapist was telling me the history, and she was confused. Madam, this girl is screaming, and the mother has come to me with the history that she is very hyperactive. So I told her, okay, I just heard. I said, I know where it is coming from. So I called the mother in. I said, where are you working? So she said, I'm a programmer in Capgemini. And the father was also a programmer in some MNC. So I said, what did you do during your pregnancy? Did you attend calls? She said, ma'am, that is part of life. So I said, what do you do on your calls? You know, my team sometimes gets on to me and I have to shout at them. I said, now you understand from where it is coming, my dear girl. And she said, yes, ma'am, I perfectly fine understand. That was 2 weeks back. Okay, this happened. And what happened after pregnancy? After pregnancy was very low. So postpartum depression is a known feature in many of the girls. Now, unless we tackle this, and this is the other program that is Beautiful Beginnings, which we look at, the first 1,000 days of life, where we start the journey with conception. We go through all the trimesters and post-conception, teach them how to deal with their feelings. That is the second program, which is applicable to couples who go through a normal state of conception. Now, journey of conception. So now this girl, after 2 weeks, I told her, first thing, understand that when you were carrying her and you were shouting, your kid was listening to your shouting. And all what she did when she came out, instead of talking, she started shouting. Second thing, what you did in the period of your COVID is you sat on the laptop. Yes, ma'am, the nanny went, we had to take off the nanny. So the girl was alone. So what would you do? I was so busy with my work and my laptop. Whenever she came, I gave my mobile. And this is something which our young girls should understand, that mobile in front of you and mobile in front of the child does not, or actually reduces your neural plasticity. The mirror neurons which are there in the brain, which actually mirror, and they need human animate faces. That's where you get your engagement. That's where you learn to communicate. That's where you learn to talk. So most of these kids who have been exposed to mobiles and to devices do not talk. And the rate at which autism is increasing nowadays, young mothers have to come to terms that when they are preparing for something which is called, I always tell them, this is a preparation. You cannot say it is done. I've got a baby, I've become pregnant, I've got a baby and I'm done. It's a responsibility. So heartfulness programs teach them to walk through this responsibility very softly and gently. And then we have other activities, like we actually teach them how to journal, because come what may, when the feelings remain inside, it's like putting moist clothes in a closet and locking it. They actually stink unless the feelings come out. So whatever you like, you may draw a flower, you may draw a charcoal, you do anything in that journal of yours, but write it down. So self-journaling or themed activities are given to these couples. During the week, we have activities for them. We have a trainer who guides them throughout and gives them sittings, meditation sittings. What happens in the sittings is also recorded. If the woman to be has obesity problems or weight gain problems or weight loss problems, we do give them nutrition advice and also Pilates. We have a good Pilates trainer who's from Portugal who teaches them how to do Pilates. We have breathing exercises which are of different types, and these breathing exercises are taught where they do it together. So this is in short how we have the pregnancy program. And of course, it would take a long time to go into how it happens. But most important thing, again, it stresses on the Raj Yoga Paddhati of the whole system. So in Raj Yoga, we have defined, like our masters have defined the koshas. We know that we are having 3 bodies, right? The Sukshma Sharir and the Karan Sharir. So we teach the couple to understand these coverings, the Manomay Kosha, the Anandmay Kosha, what causes a blockage where, and to deal with that. So your energy levels automatically change. Your body comes into alignment. Your inner and outer is in alignment. You accept yourself. You like yourself. Most often the women tend to self-criticize. So teaching them to be compassionate with yourself, teaching them self-empathy is so very essential. So this is what I would say, Dr. Snigdha, is the essence of Heartfulness programs. And if you want to collaborate, we can definitely walk the way together. We are now collaborating with the institute in Canada and also in Central India, 2 institutes. So this program is going out of Heartfulness, and we are very happy to say that there are many more couples who will be walking the way. I would also like to end this program or end it with a little story on motherhood. So we feel motherhood is limited to women, right? So there was this in a school, one of the days, it was going to be Mother's Day, just three, like we are just approaching, we are on the eve of Mother's Day, and this gardener who is in the school is summoned by the principal, and he is scared. Now, what happened? Because his daughter is in the same school. So the principal tells him, you know what? Your daughter has written an essay on motherhood. So Mother's Day and on motherhood. So he says, really? But she doesn't have a mother. So her mother passed away the day she was born. So the principal says, that is what she has written, my dear. So he says, what has she, he actually gets scared. Now, what has this girl written? So she has written, and she has thanked God for giving this father in her life. She says, I don't have a mother. I cannot describe what a mother is, but I can definitely write about my father who has become my mother, who has given me everything what I needed, who has stood by me. Though my grandparents told him to get married, he did not look after himself. He was more concerned about me. So it is a human heart which is compassionate, which is generous, which can accept the world as is, who is a mother. So the principal says, I am very proud of you, my dear man, and you're going to be the chief guest for this upcoming Mother's Day. So that story really touched my heart when I heard it, and I felt that it is motherhood, which is the feeling which is carried on by every one of us. And we are all mothers, every single person, because we are walking into this universe, walking into the world hand in hand. And we have to protect this universe. What we are seeing today is because the universe has not been protected. We have been just sort of neglecting what our duties were. So let us today, on this Mother's Day, walk by giving a big hug to this universe with all the motherly feelings of love, compassion, and oneness. Thank you. Thank you, Snigdha, for having shared this.
Thank you so much. What a wonderful way of talking and wonderful work that you all are doing. Really, really happy to know that. It's such an important work in today's world. Very, very important. Thank you.
Thank you. And we look forward to you joining the journey of these Family Connect programs and definitely being a part with them. Thanks.